So guys, before we get into this video, I just want to say it kind of sounds confusing at the start. I'm going to be ranking the games from the Rams when they're in LA from 10 all the way down to 1. So not 1 to 10. I accidentally say something like, so game number 1 is this. But I'm just saying, like, starting on the list, the first game is number 1, but I'm going to be ranking from 10 down to 1. What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new Rams House video. And if you do like content that revolves all around the Rams, just around the Rams, no matter what time of the year it is, hey, it's June. It is not the most busiest time for the NFL stuff, but I'm still making videos for you guys talking about the Rams because it's my favorite thing to do. So if you like this type of content, please make sure to hit that subscribe button. And a disclaimer before we get into this video is that most of these games, I'm ranking my favorite games since the Rams moved to LA. The bulk of them came from the 2017 and 2018 season, so not going to see a lot from 2019, obviously, that was a down year, or 2020. Yeah, we had some great games, but just telling you, a lot of them came from 2017, 2018, just before we get into that, and we did have a community poll talking about, pretty much I asked a question, the first person to answer it from this LA question that I generated would get a shout out, and that was Mr. E. Congratulations for answering this question right. There will be plenty more of these coming to the community tab, so make sure to keep an eye out for those, and that's another reason to be subscribed. So hey, it's a 1 for 1, it's 2 for 2, you know. So today, getting into this video, I start at number 10, and I go with the Rams versus the Giants in 2017. Hey, I'm a big guy for blowouts or just high-scoring games. I mean, as long as the Rams win, I'm a happy guy. But whenever we blow somebody out or we have a ton of points on the scoreboard, I'm happy. So this was just a fun game in my opinion, just because, like, putting up 51 points to the Giants 17, I mean, I know they're the Giants, but that was just still a fun game to watch. Lots of offense. There was a bunch of explosive plays. And again, this was McVay's first year, so it was just a really fun explosion to watch because we weren't really used to this dynamic offense yet. So that was just a fun one, a ton of points, a lot of electricity going through that Rams fan base, and it was just a really fun one to watch. And coming in at number 2, I got the Rams versus the Seahawks. Similar scenario in this one, but I promise this isn't going to be a continuation pattern where it's just blowouts. I think anytime you can have the Seahawks have a barbecue Seahawks in their own stadium, just barbecue them up, I'm going to be happy. And I think anybody's going to be happy if the Seahawks are the rivals in your division, whatever the case may be. Whatever chance you get to barbecue the Seahawks, you're going to have a good time. This was a game where Todd Gurley rushed for over 120 yards when he was in his prime, and our special teams was going off. The final score was 42-7. And that was just a really fun game to watch for many reasons. Obviously, Todd Gurley going over 120 yards was fun. The offense was just, again, really explosive. But also, it felt like every single kick return or punt return, it was almost a touchdown guarantee every time. That's what it felt like. We at least got close, or we got huge returns right and left with Pharoh Cooper. And another thing was the defense played really stout. Like, having the Seahawks only put up 7 points, I know our defense plays well against them, but that's just still fun. So the end score was 42-17, and that was in the 2017 season. So next up, I got the Rams and Titans. This was also a 2017 game, and this one was really fun, I think, just because first, it was a close game, but also the division was on the line. If we won this game, we would win the division, but also, like, obviously huge playoff implications. We were going to make it to the playoffs, but winning the division for the first time in a long time, I mean, this is coming after the Jeff Fisher era and having McVay here for the first year, and we can win the division. Like, this was an important game, but it was also by Christmas. That's what made it kind of special as well. We ended up coming out on top on this one, so just the whole feeling of, oh, we're going back to the playoffs, we're winning the division, and you know, the classic woo, like with McVay. It was just, you know, it was a really fun game to watch, and the offense was just going off, and both teams actually were really close. It came down, the Titans had a chance to win the game, but our defense ended up coming out on top on that last drive, and we closed it out. So that was a really fun one to watch just because of all those things I mentioned. Again, 2017 game. And next we have Rams versus the Raiders. This is a 2018 game, and I think I just really liked the Rams versus Raiders game because it had huge expectations and huge implications on John Gruden's career, but also this was coming off of McVay winning Coach of the Year after his first year, so there was a lot of excitement seeing if McVay would be able, or if other teams would be able to adjust, but also seeing a new coach in John Gruden. And I think that atmosphere was really cool to me. Like, anytime that you can get a loud Raiders crowd, even if you're the away team like we were, it's just a really fun atmosphere to play in. You got that Marcus Peters pick six. There was a lot to look at in that game, and it was just a really, really fun atmosphere. And the score that we ended up winning by was pretty crazy, 33-13. I think that was just a really fun one to watch. Monday Night Football, again, all those expectations. It was a really fun game to watch, and yeah, that was week 1, but that kicked off our Super Bowl year where, yeah, we didn't win one, but we made it to the Super Bowl. It was a really fun year, so that one kind of kicked it off. It was a fun game. Speaking of kicking it off, we have at number 5 the Rams versus Colts. This was a fun one because this was McVay's first game as an NFL head coach for the Los Angeles Rams. There was a lot of doubt coming into McVay's career in coaching, just an NFL coach, and he came into the Rams. There was a lot of doubters, as the media does, but we ended up blowing out these Colts. I still remember this game to the day. I was like, are we actually good? Again, this was coming off of the Jeff Fisher era, so I was like, are we actually a good team going into this year? And McVay just had a heyday. I mean, I don't think that the league really knew what was coming, so it was a really fun game. The end score was 46-9, and that was the 2017 game. A lot of offense, some great defensive plays, just a great game all around to kick off the McVay era, and what better game to kick it off with a 46-9 game. So that came in at number 5. Number 4, we got Rams versus Cowboys. This is the divisional round 2018. A lot of excitement. I actually think, this is a divisional. This was the game where CJ Anderson and Todd Gurley went off. They ended up running for over 250 yards. Goff had no touchdowns. It was just a running game. That was really fun to watch, refreshing, because in this era of just passing all the time, it was rare to see all that rushing going into it. So we didn't really expect that. We just saw a ton of rushing in this game, and CJ Anderson came off the couch in that free agency, and the Rams just picked him up because that arthritis started happening with Todd Gurley, and both of them just kept going after, and just they were creating great plays left and right and seemed to be getting first downs every single play. And so that was really fun to watch, in my opinion. And then we also had some great defense. It ended up being a close game in the end, too, and it was a 30-22 game, so the Cowboys gave up a great fight. But I do like those close games as well, as long as we come out on top. It was a playoff game, really fun to watch. I love that running game that we got to see. So that was a great one at number 4. Number 3, we got Minnesota Vikings versus Los Angeles Rams. This was a 2018 game. I'm pretty sure you guys all remember this. Goff's perfect passing game. He just couldn't miss that night, and that was definitely one of his best nights of his career, if not the best of his career. But it also, what struck me about having this as one of my, this is a top 3 favorite game for me in the LA era, was just both teams were giving it their all. It was in LA. It was that night where that rapper was there, Robert Woods, high-fived him. An amazing atmosphere. The crowd showed out, and Goff showed out. It was a really fun game. And again, that 2018 Super Bowl run, again, we didn't win it, but that was just a very, very fun atmosphere, very fun game. Ended up coming out as a 38-31 game, as the Vikings did have it, but John Franklin Myers stripped it out, and we were able to ice the game from there. So it was a really fun one, coming in at number 3. Number 2, we got Rams versus Saints in the NFC Championship game. And I know, if you guys are Saints fans watching this channel, first of all, thank you for coming in, or just an NFL fan and still think this is the pass interference game, I don't care. I mean, it was an NFC Championship game. We ended up winning. I have plenty of arguments to back up why, yes, that was a pass interference, but, the Saints still had overtime, had a chance to win. Just a really exciting game with that John Johnson interception off the Dante Fowler hit when Breeze was throwing the ball. Exciting game all around. We didn't start off the hottest, but again, I love NFL games that have an atmosphere that even at home you can feel it. And again, an NFC Championship, that was the first one we've seen in a long time, and first one under Sean McVay. Honestly, that was a fun game to see. Greg Zuerlein kick it through the uprights from that far and just know we're going to the Super Bowl. Because imagine if you missed that, then that would have been game over. The Saints could have just marched it down 20 yards and get the field goal of their own. So another exciting one there. Coming in at number 1, I have Rams versus Chiefs. And why do I have this? I'm pretty sure you guys know. It was just Monday Night Football thriller, 54-51. This was just an exciting game because both teams were being compared as almost the same. The offenses nearly looked the same. Both teams had impressive offenses, and both teams had nearly the same record. I believe it was 9-0 versus 9-0 or 9-1 versus 9-1. Correct me with what if I'm wrong or whatever. Just let me know down below. Either way, these teams were both coming in with high expectations. I remember it was around the holiday season. It was just fun to be with the family, listening to Christmas music before that, and just, there's just this vibe in the air, and then you get to watch it. I can't imagine being there, just being in that stadium with that atmosphere, with all the fire responses, all the people that came to support it, and just the energy in there where it was just LA together. That's just what it was, LA together. And it came down to the wire. It seemed like, yeah, this game was filled with offense for sure, but I think the common misconception is a lot of people forget there was a lot of defense in there, and there was still some defensive scores, but the offense gets looked at more. It's crazy. Todd Gurley really didn't do that much, but the passing game and even the defenses with the strip and take it back, plays like that, this whole game was just exciting, and the atmosphere was exciting. The fact it was around the holidays was exciting, and just being around with your loved ones was exciting as well. So thank you guys so much for watching. Let me know what you think, what you rank the games since the Rams moved to LA, or even just all-time Rams games. And as always, horns up and God bless.